Shave Across the Decades, the finale 2023, and a first look at Hoffman's Shave and Soap Company. You're watching Barber Dave's Shaves and Such.
Over time I noticed there's nothing about this that ever feels quite normal. Kinda like we're always in a free fall. And if I had a time machine, I'd tell you, darling, it's not gonna be so bad. But knowing me, I wouldn't.
Hey folks, how's it all going? Okay, we made it. Part 15. Thank you so much if you've watched all the videos. We certainly appreciate it. We've got some special stuff that we'll announce at the end. But before we get started, in deciding what to use for 2023, I wanted to use the newest products that I had. Unfortunately, one of the products, the Blackland Osprey, was not ready for sale yet, so I don't have that, but I'll do that down the road. So I had two choices. I was either going to use the Titleist by Essence, which is this lovely removable blade straight razor, or I was going to use something that fits the theme of the shave, and also a razor that I grab for all the time, especially during the week before I go to the shop. And due to the maneuverability and just the overall ease of use and the efficiency of the shave, I bet you can guess, that's right, I am using the Blackland Vector with a brand new feather blade in it. I know that some people thought that this would be a straight shave, but I wanted to go ahead and do this. Now let's talk about the product that I'm using. The Luxury Shaving Hobbyist, which is right down here. Oh, and before we get started, please don't forget www.theshavingcadre.com. Also, Drinks and Dave's. Please check us out. Our shows are on Mondays for the time being at 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you're enjoying the show, enjoying the channel, please follow along right there. We'd certainly appreciate it. We are going to be having another giveaway when we get to 1,100 subscribers. Anyways, back to the product of the day. The Luxury Shaving Hobbyist, which is listed down here in the comments, or not the comment section, but in the description section, along with all the other creators that I support. Please check their channels out as well. But the Luxury Shaving Hobbyist, Glenn, uses a soap company that I'd never heard of, believe it or not, and that was Hoffman's shaving company. And I saw one, for those of you that know, I'm a huge aviation buff, and I saw one that I really liked, and so I was enabled. Yes, I was enabled by Glenn. Glenn is also GBSHER over on the Shaving Cadre, so I want to thank you, Glenn. And that's right, I'm going to be using Dogfight by Hoffman's. Now, there's a story behind this that I think is extremely customer service related. And I'll also include Hoffman's website down in the description section also. And it should also be noted that I did not receive these for free. I actually paid for these. But when I looked at the scent profile, not only just the coolness of the... now, this could be an F6B Wildcat or an F4U Corsair. Based on this right here, I would venture to say it's probably a Corsair, but regardless. But when you look at the scent notes of this, you've got, it's wood. It's a woody fougere. Are you listening, Nurse Dave? So you have blue spruce, balsam, pine, cedar, oak moss, and then juniper. So basically it's like walking through multiple elevations of a nice, beautiful forest, and then somebody shooting you in the face with a wrist rocket full of juniper berries. It has very much a brute vibe to it, but it also, you could say that it has a little bit of gray flannel, a little bit of quorum, a little bit of Czar, and these are all basically woody fougere fragrances. So we're going to try that out. This is the first look. I have not used it before, and we've got the aftershave, the EDT, and then we've got some other stuff. But the one thing that stood out to me from a customer service standpoint is I ordered this back, I believe, on the 15th of August. And I was sitting at the shop one day between appointments, and the phone rang. And it was a gentleman by the name of Robert from Hoffman's. And he said, "Hey, Dave, I am so sorry. I'm waiting on this soap. Do you want me to send the aftershave and EDT or the Eau de Parfum now, or do you want to just have me wait until the soap?" I said, just wait. I want to do everything together. And I told him that I would be doing a first look and review on it as well. And it was just very cordial, very apologetic. And you don't see that too much from people anymore. And I thought that was, boom, that was one mark right there, because he's got a pretty wide bench of different fragrances. So depending on what happens here, that may be something I will be purchasing more and more of. But when I got the package, he had included the Dogfight shampoo bar. And I don't use shampoo bars that often. Being a barber, I'm very specific on what products I use. And, the biggest men's product is Roffler. And being a distributor for them and a Roffler trained barber, that's what I use, both shampoo, conditioner, and everything else. However, I said, what the heck? And I tried it. And I got to tell you, the shampoo bar is fantastic. Hair feels good. You still have that fragrance coming out of the Dogfight. So let's see what happens. So what's the rest of the stuff we're using today? Well, the shave across the decades would not be inclusive unless I included in my opinion, one of the finest brush makers in existence. He's kind of on a hiatus right now, but that's right, Eric Sorrentino. And he's a Smatayu on the Shaving Cadre forum. But this is the Corleone with a synthetic knot. So, as I said, I've got the brush wet. I pre-soaked the soap a little bit. Not that I probably really needed to, but I wanted to see. And the fragrance off the tub is just amazing. It's a woody fougere, and it's wood. I mean, you can smell every single component of the wood. From the balsam to the pine to the cedar. It's just wonderful. It lathers super easy. I don't know how many seconds that is, but we're almost ready. Now, granted, this is with a synthetic. I will be testing it with a badger and a boar as well, as I do all my soaps. But this is just beautifully creamy and everything else, so we'll see how that goes. Strength of scent right off the puck is easily a 4.5 to a 5. Easily. And so we'll see how she lathers and whether I have to add any water or anything else. So let's see. Beautiful on the face. It doesn't have any cooling agent in it, as far as I know, but it does give the appearance of some cooling. But definitely a 4.5 to a 5 easily on the strength of scent. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm picking up a lot of the pine. The balsam really comes forward, and the cedar. The cedar is the anchor to all this, and then of course just hints of the juniper throughout. Maybe just a little bit of water, but it really doesn't take a lot. This is very comparable as far as lathering to A&E, Sterling, and so forth. Very thick, very creamy. And obviously you could thin it out, but it's just got a beautiful texture to it. Feels really good on the face, no stinging. Where sometimes you get that when soaps have not been aged enough. But just, wonder, and the fragrance is fantastic. Again, we're using the Blackland Vector simply because it's kind of a placeholder for the Osprey until I get it. Very smooth. Great slickness. And each stroke that you take, you get hints of all the notes that are in this soap. So it's not linear at all as far as the fragrance. You can pick up hints of everything. As I said, I think that the cedar is the base of all this, and but you really pick up the balsam and the pine. This could be paired very easily with all of the other fragrances that I mentioned. And I was worried, and I think I mentioned this in yesterday's video, that I wasn't going to get this in time because USPS had not updated their system. And then the next thing I know, when I was in Phoenix, my wife called and said, hey, you got something from Hoffman Soaps. And I wasn't expecting it. So I was excited knowing that this would be the finale of the shaves across the decades that I'd be able to shave with it. Great residual slickness. I'll check the residual slickness without water after the shave, but just, oh, wonderful. As soon as you add water to this, the fragrance just explodes. Real good as far as application on the second pass, so it did not delineate or leave or calm down at all. It's still just as thick, and you really don't have to add that much water. Now, again, that's with a synthetic. We'll see how she performs with a brush. But yeah, you know, as we finish up the shaves across the decades, the one thing that is very apparent is that the artisans that are making soaps, aftershaves, and fragrances now are just phenomenal. And I do need to tell the other artisans and people in this world that the shaves across the decades had nothing to do with performance, or if anybody was ranked any different, other than CBL and Panacrema and SV. It's just that there's, you know, not enough time, because we experienced from 1880 all the way to 2023. And I tried to pick the items as best as I could to match what I like, but also to match what people were shaving with. So if I left you out, or I left a razor out, don't take anything from that other than the fact that there was only 15 shaves, and that doesn't even scratch the surface. So I hope you enjoyed. The razor is gliding through this just amazingly. So if you haven't tried a Vector, go talk to Shane at Blackland. I mean, these things are amazing. And now you can get them in colors and titanium and all that kind of good stuff. Again, the residual slickness, I could probably do the third pass just with a little bit of water. And that's it. It's that slick. Just a really nice soap. Now you're getting a little bit more of the juniper coming in, but the pine, cedar, and balsam. The balsam is really, if I had to pick one star of the show, the balsam is the star of the show. And if you know, balsam has a little bit of a woody sweetness to it, but the pine kind of counteracts that. And then you definitely get the strong smack in the face of cedar, which is just wonderful. So if you have a cedar related fragrance, it would be perfect for this. And I'll check the residual slickness of without water after this pass. And another reason I was so excited about getting the Osprey, aside from that fact that I spent a lot of my Air Force career on one of those, is that every time Shane comes out with a new razor, when you think it can't be any better, he exceeds himself. And the Vector was my first, and I still think it's the absolute finest single-edge feather style handheld razor there is. Just from how intuitive it is. and maneuverable. But then I got the Blackbird in titanium, and at first I was a little scared. Oh, sorry, I put some water there. Okay, this is without water on this side. Every bit is slick. In fact, just for giggles, well, no, I'll go ahead and do it. For cleanup, I'll go ahead and use the soap. Plenty of soap in here. I'd say maybe a 10-second load is plenty. But the at first, the Blackline and I did not get along very well. The Blackbird, it was so aggressive that I had to really, and with the titanium being as light as it is, I had to be very, very careful with it. But now it's probably the most efficient razor I have, even over this one. This one's more fun to use. I have not tried the Saber yet. That is going to be in the works probably at some point. That is the gem style version. And then, of course, I'm very excited about the Osprey since it's an adjustable. And being the fact that the Fat Boy is one of my favorite razors, it'll be nice to compare that. Okay, now I can check. Beautiful residual slickness, just absolutely fantastic. The fragrance has stayed at a 4.5 throughout, so you will have some residual fragrance going on when you go to the aftershaves. As is typical with the Vector, not an ounce of alum bite at all. But like I said, this has got a very, in fact, I would even venture to say that this may even have very close to a 5 on the strength of scent. So, Robert at Hoffman's, this is a winner so far. We're going to keep testing it, and I can see myself enjoying some of your other offerings. Like I said, check them out. It'll be down in the description. Even after the alum and the cold water rinse, your face feels wonderfully hydrated. This soap right here could break into the top 5. A little bit too early to tell, but definitely a DS BBS shave. Now, obviously, that had a lot to do with this guy, but and everything else. When looking at which hazel to use today, in the fragrance profile and everything else, there's no doubt that lavender works great. So I'm going to be using the Quinn's lavender today. Yeah, in fact, it enhances the fragrance. So this was a good finale for the shaves across the decades. Really was. Like I said, I wish I would have had the Osprey, but we'll do that down the road. Oh, just beautiful. And with the lavender and all the other fragrance notes that are in the Dogfight, the Hoffman's Dogfight, you get a little bit of a talkiness, a talky smell to that. And so we're going to see how that works. We are going to be using the matching aftershave. And this is an aftershave you definitely will need to shake up a little bit. It's got a milky consistency to it. But Hoffman's Dogfight. And I have not even opened this yet. This is the first. Oh, wonderful. Nice reducer. Great bottle. Akin to A&E. Now here you get the first blast is pine. Oh yeah, definitely pine with the juniper mixed in. As it dries down, the cedar and the balsam start coming out, but definitely on the aftershave, the pine is the big star, but with the wood tones behind it. Not much sting. Just, really nice. Makes your face feel hydrated and so forth. For our talc today, we're going to be using what I think matches pretty well. You could actually use English fern talc, which would go well, but I've got so little of it, I'm not going to use it. So we're going to be using Yardley Classic today. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's got a woody, piney, um, conifer type vibe to it. And it really, really is enhancing the fragrance overall. Um, so just absolutely wonderful. I'm very, 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 very happy that I was able to have Glenn turn me on to this stuff. Because, you know, and that's another thing about the shaves across the decades is that there are so many soaps and artisans out there right now. It's tough to keep track, and that's a good thing for, you know, because for a while there, we were worried that all this was going to start going away, but it hasn't. In fact, if anything, it's enhanced. And I know that these small artisans are struggling because there's so much out there in the market that what they can sell, you know, is good for their bottom line. So. Just as a first look right out of the gate, I would definitely recommend Hoffman's. And now let's see on their EDP. Nice little bottle. Good atomizer, not too bad. It does come out pretty good. Now on this, definitely the balsam and the cedar. I don't get a lot of juniper right out of the gate. But, oh, there it is. There's the juniper coming in just a little bit, but just absolutely wonderful. So, again, check out Hoffman's Shaving. Well, let me make sure I got it right. Hoffman's Shave and Soap Company. Very, very nice. I'll put the link to their website, to Robert's website, down in the description section. So that's it for Shaves Across the Decades, folks. I want to thank you so much for coming along with this 15-part series. We certainly do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it did give you kind of a taste from 1880 all the way till 2023. I've got a couple of things in the fire as far as what we're going to do for our next series. It may be a couple of weeks, but I'll give you a hint. As I said before, what we're going to be doing is we're going to call it the Imaginarium. So in other words, with each shave, we want to take you to a specific locations with the smells and everything else that goes along with that. I'm still putting that together. So anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you guys do in supporting this channel and the Drinks and Dave's channel. Please, again, come and see us at the Shaving Cadre. I'm Barber Dave. This is Barber Dave Shaves and such. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of the week. And we shall see you again next Sunday for another shave. Take care.